It's April 26th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. In this show, we'll talk about how banks can finally support Bitcoin. I mean, this is going to change everything. We'll talk about why. Also, how the Bitcoin Treasury Companies are popping up out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but just everywhere. And guess what? That is great for strategy. That is great for MSTR. We'll talk about why. We'll also talk about MSTR getting the highest ranking it's ever achieved in the top 500 companies for the S&P 500 ranking. Also, the strategy is working. If you haven't noticed, I know most of you have noticed, but finally some others are taking notice. And then 4 epic Michael Saylor video clips you're not going to want to miss. This video, not financial advice, but please do comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Just comment for support. Your comments mean the world. Thank you for your likes. And let's dive on in. Okay, our first post of the day is from Michael Saylor, who just wants us to know Bitcoin is faster. And look at that grin because he knows what's coming. Ear to ear, baby. The Bitcoin Archive just wanted us to see this post from Michael Saylor that banks are now free to begin supporting Bitcoin. And this is a game changer. The fact that all banks can now assist with custodying and doing other things when it comes to Bitcoin. This was the final domino that Michael Saylor said needed to happen before Bitcoin gets to 1 million. So what happens next? I think we all know. And by the way, for those concerned about how the new Bitcoin treasury companies may impact strategy, you need not be. Here's why, says Chris. 1, every new entrant increases demand for Bitcoin. Boom. 2, the more demand for Bitcoin, the higher the price of Bitcoin. 3, the higher the price of Bitcoin, the bigger the market cap of strategy. 4, the bigger the market cap of strategy, the more capital it can raise to further increase its Bitcoin holdings. First mover advantage is real. This is why I have such a disproportionate size of my investment in MSTR, because first mover advantage is real. It's so real. Saylor's 5-year head start has positioned strategy as a monopoly. The groundwork is done. Strategy has achieved escape velocity, and you can scale faster than anyone else. It's over. They can scale faster than anyone else, and it is over. And we're on that train. We are on that train, my friends. Jeff Walton says, this next period of price discovery for Bitcoin and MSTR is going to melt faces. Buckle your seatbelt. Institutional grade bewilderment is coming. Bewilderment. Michael Saylor wants us to know that we can still buy Bitcoin for less than 0.1 million. And he knows, and I know, that is a steal and a deal. And here's MSTR now ranked as the 88th largest U.S. company by market cap. That's $99 billion. This is a new ranking all-time high. MSTR has never ranked higher than 88th before, so congratulations to us. Jumped 11 companies today and 18 this week. Cigarettes in the rear view and cybersecurity in the crosshairs. Day 290 in a row of qualifying for the S&P 500 cap threshold. 6th largest publicly traded equity by volume, higher. Very productive week, and cheers to the weekend, y'all. Chris says, the Bitcoin rush is literally happening right before everyone's eyes, and yet 99% of the world is still completely oblivious to it. But everybody watching this video, the 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people watching this video right now, you're not oblivious to it, and I am so excited for you. Michael Saylor wants us to know that the strategy is working. It looks pretty good with MSTR up 6% and the rest not up 6%. In fact, all of them in the red. And strategy did follow up by saying, you know what? This is a singular strategy, and it's a similar charts. The Bitcoin orange is up. Everything else, not so much. Now I've got a few great video clips of Michael Saylor that you're not going to want to miss. So let's dive on in.
You ever try to carry a gold bar through an airport?
Very heavy.
Try it next time. They won't let you through, right? In fact, if you tried to carry $100,000 of gold through an airport, not only would you not get through, but the assumption would be you're a criminal, you stole the gold, and they would just take it and keep it without a court order. Now, try to carry $100,000 of cash through the airport. You ever try that? You can put it in a bag, and as you're walking through the x-ray machine, just nonchalantly say to the officer, yeah, I'm carrying $100,000 of money onto the airplane. You won't get through. Now, not only will you not get through, they'll just take your money. They'll just take it, and the assumption will be you stole it, okay? So cash is a unit of control. Now, put $100,000 in a bank and try to wire it to someone, or just take it out and they're going to ask you why. Tell them it's none of their business. Try to send it to someone privately, to a numbered Swiss bank account, right? See how that works. That won't work. That's a system of control. Bitcoin is the one network you can't control. Nobody can control Bitcoin. So if you're insecure about being able to own your own money, do you own it? And can you actually use it without asking somebody's permission? Then the solution is not gold, is not silver coins, is not stacks of cash. It's not money in a bank in the US. It's certainly not money in a bank in Lebanon, Argentina, anywhere in Africa. The one network that you have that gives you a decent chance of owning your own money and then being able to spend it the way you want is Bitcoin.
Like if you roll the clock back to 2007, Steve Jobs invents the iPhone. And, people thought, oh, it's a toy. By 2009, the iPhone's got an app store. And if you understood anything about software, the iOS is a new operating system, and it's going to be its own ecosystem, at least as important as the web. And it's going to spawn an entire new generation of applications, right? And the mobile wave is responsible for what, like $5 trillion, 5 to 10 trillion dollars of wealth over the next decade. Can you imagine someone sitting around saying, oh, I get mobile device technology, and you're trying to time the market in Apple stock in 2011? Like you're buying and selling Apple stock in 2011. You want to shake. I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm trading Facebook stock back and forth between $8 a share and $4 a share and $12 a share. And you just want to do this. Like, do you not understand that one day every single person on the planet is going to have one of these things in their pocket, and it's going to go up by a factor of 100? And you're trying to trade Apple stock between $1.25 and $1.17 and bragging about how you bought it at $1.25 and sold it at $2.11. And have you figured out the consequences of being short the share if it goes up by $100? Like the amount, are you out of your mind? Because, by the way, I spent 30 years in the business, and I obsess over this every single freaking minute of the day. And I wrote a book on it, right? I wrote the book. I predicted the future. I made $500 million investing in these things, right? And I started, and I put a small amount of capital in. And let me tell you one thing, John, I can't time the market. I have no freaking clue.
All right, we got a couple more Michael Saylor clips coming up as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. So check it out. I know we're all looking to stack more Bitcoin and MSTR, and to do that, we need more fiat. So let's chat about our sponsor, ShipStation. We all know the market can seem pretty chaotic at times, but if you're in charge of order fulfillment for your business, you already understand chaos. While we might not be able to help calm the chaos in the market, ShipStation is here to help when it comes to shipping and fulfillment. I've used ShipStation to easily automate shipping to customers around the globe. My favorite part about the platform, managing orders in one simple dashboard makes an otherwise massive task feel pretty darn simple. Plus, ShipStation not only integrates with the services and selling channels you already use, it's also the fastest, most affordable way to ship products to your customers. ShipStation hooks you up with discounts up to 88% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates, and up to 90% off FedEx rates. Calm the chaos of order fulfillment with the shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to shipstation.com/MSTR to sign up for your free trial, or click the pinned comment below this video. That's shipstation.com/MSTR. And thank you for supporting our sponsors that allow myself and my team to continue to produce these daily videos for you for free. Now back to the show. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR.
Like a rational world is Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. They all buy Bitcoin with their cash flows. I mean, Apple would be worth an extra $1 trillion, right? If Apple basically started buying 20-30 billion dollars a year of Bitcoin, they spent 500 billion on their stock. Where would Apple be if they bought 500 billion worth of Bitcoin right now? I mean, granted, it was over a 10-year time period, but if you look at that, right, how do you increase the market cap of Apple or Meta by $1 trillion? And the answer is you start to take your cash flows and your treasury, and then you buy a capital asset that's plus 40% a year instead of one that's minus 4% a year. And when that happens, you can see in our macro model, the equity market's going to look good, right? That's going to put a boost in the S&P and the NASDAQ and the Magnificent Seven. So it's not, I guess my point is I don't want to be a doomer like Bitcoin good, everything else bad, because the truth is you could say Bitcoin good, equity bad, and bonds bad. But if I actually back the bonds with Bitcoin, and if I back the currency with Bitcoin, and if I back the equity with Bitcoin, then they're all going up, right? So it's like just Bitcoin better, and everything else is actually going to grow. And that's the argument for Bitcoin just makes the world a better place, right? It's the constructive, cheerful, progressive, grow out of your own problems with a good technology, vision, as opposed to, you know, this nation is going to melt down its currency and its banks are going to melt down and we're all just going to jump on a lifeboat. Yeah, the board is a stopper. They're not going to be helpful in changing the company. The truth is the CEO is most important in actually putting a company on the Bitcoin standard. And after that, you might have one holdout. My advice is if you have one holdout, you have to get them off the board.
Mhm.
Like if you were the CEO and you can't, I have talked to boards, by the way. I've talked to companies. I was like, well, you're a $1 billion company. If you do this, you'll be a $10 billion company. And if you do it right, you'll be a $100 billion company. And one person stops them. And you have to ask the question, should you allow one person to deprive the shareholders of $100 billion? Right? And the answer is you shouldn't. But this all comes down to clarity and courage,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think Peter Thiel says courage is a much shorter supply than genius, and that's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. Like there's 800,000 geniuses in the world,
Mhm.
but how many original thinkers are there in the world that actually are willing to take a courageous stance? It's a lot less than 800,000.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR Today. And here's my receipt from yesterday. I bought a 0.576 share. The amount of my shares are going lower as the price goes higher of MSTR at $366. The amount cost me $210 and change as I buy about $210 of MSTR every trading day of 2025. Tomorrow, I'll reveal my updated DCA portfolio. A lot of greens coming, so get ready for that. And please remember, there's always going to be FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. In the middle of the biggest bull run we're about to experience, if I'm right, and this bull run that I think is coming, you're going to hear FUD. You're going to hear people saying, this is the top, sell now. This 15% pullback is it. It's going down to zero. Just continue to surround yourself with the right people. I'm not saying there's ever a problem taking profits. Nobody ever went broke taking profits, but we know where this is going. We know that this is inevitable, and that's bull with a Bitcoin capital B. I'm in this for the long term. I know a lot of you are as well. And as Michael Saylor loves to say, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.